If you've ever wondered why bacon is only made from pork, well, the answer is it doesn't have to be. You can make bacon from beef, you can make bacon from lamb, and today we're going to make bacon from venison. Hello, welcome to English Country Life. Welcome to the kitchen. Welcome to making venison bacon. My name's Hugh, and today I want to show you a bit of a refinement of the technique that we've shown before on bacon making at home. I'll put a link somewhere up there. We have a whole series on bacon making, from how to make your own cure through to how to cure the bacon, how to smoke it if that's what you wish, how to cut it and pack it, how to make healthy bacon, how to make treacle cured bacon. We really have covered the subject quite well, but only with pork. And today we're going to cover making bacon from other meats, and specifically from venison. We were lucky enough recently that a lovely chap called Dan made available to us a whole fallow deer, and we butchered it at home, and we've got all those cuts of meat, and I wanted to do some things that were interesting beyond just roasting and frying and the normal sort of thing, hence venison bacon. Now, people might think, oh, venison, that's very expensive, that's very good. It doesn't have to be. The whole reason that we processed our own deer was it was a wild deer. It was taken as part of a deer management plan, and people don't realise that there are more deer alive today in Britain than there were at the time of William the Conqueror. They have no natural predators and they tend to breed up, so they have to be managed so that the old and the sick make way for the young and the vigorous. No one's talking about wiping them out, quite the reverse, but a healthy managed population of deer is what we want. Hence, you end up with a wonderful, wild, free-ranging meat. And that's what we're going to use today. So the cut of meat we're going to use is venison loin. Let's take a look at that. Look at that. Is that not a magnificent cut of meat? So the loin is a back cut. It comes up from near the backbone of the creature. And I want you to also look at this and think how lean that meat is. Now that's going to make a magnificent piece of meat to eat, but if we fry it, we're going to have to add fat to the frying pan, because normal pork would have a layer of fat under the skin, and this meat has effectively no fat at all. Doesn't mean we can't make bacon, does mean we have to think about how we fry it. What I want to do now is weigh the meat. I'm going to put it into a box to cure, and I'm going to add a simple salt, saltpetre and sugar bacon cure. Well, our venison loin weighs 800 grams. So how am I going to cure it? Well, the cure I'm going to use today, and we've talked a lot about cures, and we have a video on that subject. The cure I'm going to use today is a kilo of salt blended with 8 grams of saltpetre, and that blended with 200 grams of sugar. I'm going to cure this for 2 days, plus another day for every ½ inch of thickness, and it's about 1.5 inches thick. So 2 days plus 3 days, total cure of 5 days. We'll do it in a plastic box, and we'll turn the loin every day so that as liquid is drawn out from the loin, and that's what the cure will do, different parts of it are in contact with that liquid. We're not going to top the cure up. That is all we're going to add. So effectively 75 grams per kilo of meat, and then we will just let a strong salt solution sit around the venison, curing the meat. Having done a mental arithmetic, we need 60 grams of cure for our 800 grams of meat. I've had to cut a piece off the end of our loin because it's too long for the box, but the box perfectly fits the fridge that we cure bacon in. So 60 grams of cure for 800 grams of meat. And we're going to sprinkle it on and then rub it in well on both sides of the meat, and we're going to get it into all the ends and all the little crannies and crevices, because that's important when you're curing meat. So part of what we're doing is literally finding all these crevices, getting a bit of cure into them to make sure that every part of the meat gets properly cured. And these ends, again, must get some cure on them as well. After even just a couple of minutes, you can already see liquid being drawn out of this venison in our dry curing process. So it won't take long to get going. And that's it, lid clipped on. I love these boxes, they come from a really useful company. And you can find them in our Amazon store, link in the description down below. Because these are just the right width for a fridge. And if I'm doing multiple different batches, different flavours of bacon, I can stack them up on top of each other. So the venison's in there, we'll turn it every day for 5 days and then we'll come back to you. Five days has gone by and our meat has cured. We'll take a look in a sec. And after we've looked at it, the next steps in the process is to rinse the meat off, get rid of any remaining cure, etc. on the surface. And then what we're going to do is set the meat up on wire racks in the fridge for a while, a couple of days to a week. And that'll let any dampness from the rinsing dry off. It'll firm the meat up. And then a pellicle, a shiny membrane will form over the surface of the meat. And that's really helpful because we're going to smoke this venison. And the pellicle is a sort of sticky membrane. It helps the smoke adhere to the surface of the meat. So, let's take a look. There's the meat then. There's a little bit of liquid in the bottom of the box which we will pour off from the curing process. The meat has got darker and firmer during the dry curing. Next step is a couple of times I'm going to fill the curing box with fresh clean water and rinse any remaining cure off the meat. So that's the loin of venison set up on wire racks, and I'm going to put that in the fridge for a few days to air dry, to firm the meat up and let that pellicle form. Well, I've left that venison in the fridge for a few days. That might worry some people, sort of uncovered meat in a fridge, although we use a separate fridge for it. But think about this. You buy dry-aged beef that's been dry-aged for 21 days. And that's what we're doing here. Just a dry aging process. So let's take a look at that venison. And then what we're going to do is cold smoke it. What I want you to see is just how shiny that meat is now. That's the pellicle. That's the membrane that's formed on the surface of the meat that will really help cold smoking to adhere and add flavour to the meat. We've got a video and I'll link up above to how to build a cold smoker and how to do it. It's a very simple process. But for now, let's get this magnificent venison into the smoker. Well, we smoked it overnight and it smells and looks magnificent. Let's take a close look and then we'll get it sliced. Difficult to show this exactly on camera, but over the course of the curing process and the smoking process, the meat has become a much darker, almost chocolate brown, and because it's dry cured, it's lost a lot of moisture and it's become thinner. So the cross section is fairly small. These are going to be small slices of bacon. So let's get them sliced on our vintage slicer. Look at that. I think we've really got to give this a try, don't you? Now, it's going to need some fat in the pan because it's a very lean cut of meat. And I've got some duck fat that we rendered, and I think that is really going to add something to our venison bacon. How we eat it? Well, yesterday I baked some walnut and honey bread with local honey, walnuts from our friend Dave across the way. So I think that will make a bacon sandwich, but rather than ketchup, we made slow jelly this year. And I think wild meat with a wild berry sauce sounds fantastic. So let's give that a go. Well, after the first mouthful, that is surprisingly bacon-like. It's not like a thin venison steak at all, but of course the curing brings out those sort of bacony flavours. It's got a real depth of flavour though, far more so than sort of pork bacon has, but in a good way. It's not overpoweringly gamey, it's just delicious. Try it. If you've enjoyed today's content, can you spare us 5 seconds and give us a thumbs up down below? Are you enjoying these sort of different types of food preserving that we're doing? And if you are, let us know in the comments and let us know the other kinds of things you'd like to see, whether it's more vegetable preserving, whether it's more meat preserving, whether it's fruit, do you want to see drying, clamping, whatever interests you. Please, let us know in the comments and we'll make those videos for you. And if you want to see them and you're not already subscribed to the channel, just whack on subscribe down there, the bell next to it, and you'll hear every time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching today and come back and see us soon. Take care.